I'd like to talk about resources for children. There is so much out there that we can do to help children. Uh, we need to utilize the library more. The library usually there's always somebody there to help a child in the library. The library have hours that they actually have reading for children. Um, they have people who can introduce them to different subjects. Also, there are neighborhood features going on. You can take a child to the grocery store. You know, there's a lot of reading to be done in the grocery store. Like you have different departments. A child should be familiar with where would a child go to find vegetables? There's a line for that. And there's always a banner in different sections of your grocery stores. You want your child to notice that there's a place you go to find pastries. For math, we can help our children by letting them see the price of things and compare prices. Different things cost different prices. Your major brands would cost more than your store brand. So you want to bring your child's attention to that. There are things like after-school programs that we should always try to be sure our children are involved in. Give your child a chance to get involved in after-school programs, different programs in the neighborhood, because in most neighborhoods you have the Y or you have community centers. Remember, life itself is an education. Just getting in the car and going around the corner is an education. Why? Because we drive around the corner, each street has a name, and we can identify street names, we can identify house numbers, we can play a game with the children or have them to design a neighborhood, maybe the neighborhood where they live. And if they walk to school, they might design the neighborhood and include the house they live in. They might include the school. There's just so much that a child can learn. A child can learn how to compare taste, like in simple as sodas. You know, you can buy a child a bottle of Pepsi. You can buy the child a bottle of Pepsi, and you can buy a child a bottle of Vest, and do a taste test, and have a child be able to recognize that different things have different tastes. Different neighborhoods have different scenes. And just because we might not have a lot of money, that doesn't mean that our child should not be able to recognize a different neighborhood. We want to take our children to different neighborhoods. I've noticed that, and I'm calling it out because I've noticed that there are black children who've never interacted with white children. There are white children who have never interacted with black children. I had an experience once where a child in the restroom, a white child in the restroom, asked if she could touch me because she had never touched a black person before. And that should never be. It should never be a case where as many blacks and whites that live in our neighborhoods, our children should never be able to say that they've never seen a black person before or never seen a white person before, because life itself is an education. We can help our children in traveling, we can help them to see that there are different climates. The climate here in St. Louis would not be the same as the climate in Miami. That's a conversation piece. We can talk about different parts of the country and expound on what would you wear if you took a vacation in LA in December. What would you pack? You know, would you take the same clothes that you wear here in St. Louis? We just have to call our children's attention to what's going on in the world. There's a lot going on in this world. Let's remember that this world is one big stage and we all play a part. And the part that we play is a necessary part. And the more our children know, the better our children will be, because they need that head start. A head start in life is when we prepare our children. We don't want to wait till our children starts going to school to help them to recognize what letters are or words are. A child, uh, children learn the most by the time they're 3 years old, and they don't start going to school till after 3 years old. So if we're not helping them to gather knowledge, we can waste a lot of their life just doing nothing. Television is fine, but it's not a good babysitter. We need to interact with our children or expose our children to things that's going to teach them. Educational things. When we buy toys, we need to make sure it's an educational toy, something that's going to teach them something about life or how to make it in life. It's important that a child is able to talk to other children and adults, express themselves. A child should know who their parents are. When somebody asks your child, who's your mother, they shouldn't say mommy. They should be able to say exactly who you are. If a person asks your child his address, he should be able to tell his address. He shouldn't scratch his head and wonder what do you mean. I can use this experience with my own children. When they were real young, one of the first things they learned is how to remember their telephone number and their address. We rap it out, sing it out, but that's very important because a child can get lost or be kidnapped and taken a block from home, and if that child is not familiar with the neighborhood or can't express himself, it can be very dangerous. So we want to build our child and get our child ready for life, because this life is not easy out here. Life is hard, and we want to prepare our children to live in this world.